Welcome back. The Namibia Petroleum Operators Association hosted an upstream petroleum industry seminar at the Movenpick Hotel here in Windhoek. This comes at a time when Namibia's offshore discoveries are sparking widespread public interest as well as conversation. Tonight we're joined by Maria Mbudhi, the Chairperson of the Public Affairs Committee and Deputy Country Manager at Rhino Resources, to explore the opportunities and challenges that lie ahead for Namibia's oil and gas sector. Maria, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Nina. Thank you for having me.
Lovely having you with us.
Once again, yes.
Just to start with, perhaps you can talk to us about, the objectives behind NAMPOA hosting the seminar.
So maybe you can allow me to give you just a brief background of what NAMPOA is about or who we are. So the abbreviation stands for Namibian Petroleum Operators Association. The association serves as a forum for its members who are the petroleum license holders in the country, and we were founded in 1992. As it stands, our membership stands at 16 operators, active operators, and the forum basically is to ensure that we are the conduit for information asymmetry, and also that our stakeholders are given the accurate and relevant information to our sector as it stands, yes. So the reason why we came up with the seminar, which is not the first, by the way, we hosted one last year, is to ensure that the media receives accurate training about the acronyms that we use in the industry, the different phases of our life cycles, project life cycles, and also just for them to understand the commerciality behind our operations so that they are able to factually report on our operations, yes.
Fantastic. Offshore discoveries, of course, have been, topic of interest and headlines across various, media outlets lately. Talk to us about how you think, they've shaped public interest in Namibia's oil and gas sector.
Yes. Prior to the discoveries, I think the Namibian nation probably did not have much information about what our operators or our investors or partners do. And we took it upon ourselves now to really have this mandate, or to carry out this mandate, to inform the public and the media and all our stakeholders about the different life cycles that we go through in our projects. But the reason why it is of crucial importance that the information that is out there is accurate information is because this affects not only the marketability of the Namibian oil and gas industry at an international scale, to be able to attract these investors, but also to at ease, put stakeholders or Namibians at ease with regards to the natural resources that are within their country. So it is our responsibility as NAMPOA, as the operators, but it is also the responsibility of government to ensure that Namibian citizens understand what they stand to benefit, but also what their responsibilities are in terms of looking after these resources, for lack of a better word.
No, great points that you're raising. Also talk to us about some of the key takeaway discussions that, happened at today's seminar.
Yes, we had various industry stakeholders or experts today. Our chairperson, our vice chairperson, and most of the management board were there, and some of our partner NAMCO was also there. We touched on various topics such as our legal frameworks, what govern us to be able to have licenses, and what is required of us from a legal standpoint, and what our responsibilities are from an economic point. We also touched on geological concepts and the different terminologies. So we gave the journalists that were present there the different concepts in terms of play concepts, geological concepts. We also then went into the project lifespans, so that your exploration, your development, and your production phases, what the commerciality behind each of those actually are. And then last but not least, we touched on the environmental and social impact assessments. Reason being, this is very important because oil and gas projects pose a serious threat to the environment if they are not conducted in a safe manner. So it was very important for us to inform the journalists or the media as to how these things are conducted and what their responsibility are in terms of this reporting. Yes.
Of course, you touched on, media being present and the seminars for them to understand the different life cycles that you go through, and also, of course, understanding the language that is used, within the sector. But just break it down for us a little bit more, and why it's so important for media to have a clear understanding, an accurate understanding of the petroleum industry.
Yeah, there are a host of reasons, a myriad of reasons as to why it's important to be factual in your reporting. But I can only maybe mention a few that
Sure.
I've gotten to experience, and a few of our members have. It is our experience that once you report accurately, or you train journalists in regards to what your operations are, the more transparent you are, the more you can build trust and public awareness.
Yes.
That makes your operation so much easier within the country. Number two, it also informs the policymakers and regulators to do informed decision making with regards to our policies. As you know, currently everyone is talking about local content, but our policymakers need to understand what involves their decision making. Environmental and social accountability, like I've mentioned, in the event that there's something like an oil spill, for example, the media will be the first ones who will be our stakeholders to report on these things. So it's for us important that they understand what it is that they need to report and what those parameters are. Yeah. And then the last but not least, I think it's the economic and investment impacts that this has on our operations as operators, but also as government. You know, if there's a misquote in the media on any of our operations, mostly those that are publicly listed, it can impact that this investment is no longer being held in Namibia, for example. It can drive away investment. Namibia has worked very hard, and the Namibian government has worked very hard over the past few decades to attract these investments. I mean, you've seen the likes of your Exxons and your oil majors come into country. Yeah. And this was because of all the hard work that was placed by the regulators and the Namibian government. So it is very important that those parameters in media reporting are accurate, and the media understands how exactly they should do all these things. So it was a pleasure for us to have you guys once again this year, and we hope that next year we can have another successful press seminar.
You did mention at the beginning of our conversation that you had a seminar last year.
Yes.
So from the standpoint of somebody who's within the oil and gas sector and watching what has come out in the different media spaces concerning information and disseminating of information around you know, oil and gas, how has do you believe that the training was, or the seminar was impactful?
Well, it's more impactful than it was last year, that's for sure, or the previous years.
Oh, that's good.
We've seen that a lot more media houses are taking the time or investing in their journalists to write more factual pieces. We both can do better, and that is why NAMPOA stands as a forum to be able to guide the media and all our other relevant stakeholders in terms of the way forward. I think as a growing nation in the oil and gas sector, we all stand to learn together, and we as NAMPOA are here to lend a helping hand where we can.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for having us, as always. Thank you.
That was Maria Mbudhi speaking to us there. We'll be back after this very brief break, and our